What's up guys, this is Ari in the Air. Welcome back to the channel, stoked you're here. I'm back from a hiatus. I've been racing my paraglider and flying a ton of cross country. I just broke the Oregon state distance record with 369 kilometer flight. That's 230 miles. I was in the air for 9 hours and I'm gonna make a video coming up to tell you all about that. But today, I just wanted to share some things with you that I realize as I'm flying these long cross-country flights that I do things with my rear risers and I do things with my Speedbar that no one ever talks about, and they're super helpful. So today I've got 3 tips for you of advanced Speedbar hacks. These are tricks that you can use if you are flying a glider that has a BC riser connection or if you're flying a two-liner, and these are just little things that will help you fly more efficiently and use your bar better so you can fly further, longer, faster, and more control. So thanks for being here. Ready? Here we go.
See ya.
So if you like this channel and you want to support what I'm doing, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Ari in the Air. The link is in the description below. For as little as $5 a month, you can help this channel out, help me make more paragliding content. Also, I do online and in-person paraglide coaching, and I'm also doing an XC clinic in Mexico, late January, early February. We've got 2 different weeks that are available. Check out my website, ariintheair.com, for all the details on that if you want to learn to paraglide cross country with me. So, to get to these 3 hacks, okay. So, first one, you know when you learned to paraglide and your instructor taught you about the Speedbar, he said, okay, you want to push the Speedbar really progressively. Okay, you don't want to slam down on the Speedbar and you don't want to let all the way off of the Speedbar. That is, in general, true, and we're going to learn how to break that rule today. So, the first thing is that when you have a rear riser system, like if you're flying a two-liner or if you're flying an ENB or ENC that has a rear riser connection system, you are flying a machine that has the potential to simultaneously push the Speedbar and negate the Speedbar with the rear risers, right? So what I do a lot when I am flying cross country is instead of trying to feather out the Speedbar with one leg and push slowly, it's like a kind of a quad workout. And when you're flying an hour, this doesn't matter. But when you start to fly longer and longer cross countries, this will matter more and more. So for me, I just take my Speedbar and I push it all the way, all at once with my leg. Simultaneously, I pull down on the rear risers, right? It's a two-liner, so the Speedbar pulls down on only the A riser and the rear risers pull down on only the B riser. So if you do both of these things simultaneously, the angle of attack, the pitch of the glider, stays exactly the same and the risers just get a little bit shorter. This is the same thing if you have a rear riser system that pulls down on the A's and B's for the Speedbar and the B's and C's for the rears. So what I do is I push quickly on the Speedbar while pulling down on the rear risers, and it just makes the risers shorter. At that point, I can just slowly let up with my arms to get that progressive acceleration that your instructor was saying you should do. Because it's true, you want a progressive acceleration for efficiency. If you dump on the Speedbar all at once, the glider pitches forward, you swing under, then the energy comes back up and you pendulum up and then it swings forward again and you have this pendulum effect that you really want to eliminate. Okay, so rear riser systems and two-liners are able to mitigate this stuff really well if you know how to use it. Okay, so that's my first hack is you can shorten the risers all at once and then progressively let up with your arms. It just gives you more control and it just feels a little bit better instead of trying to do it with your legs, okay? So then the next 2 are about coming on and off of the Speedbar and the timing, because the timing is so important, okay? Remember, your Speedbar changes your angle of attack. So does your brakes. So do your rear risers. So these things can be used synonymously. They're interchangeable. So imagine you're flying on the speed bar. Okay. Should we do this backwards? Okay. So imagine you're flying out of a thermal. We'll start with how to apply the speed bar, when to apply it. You're flying out of a thermal. You fly from lift into sink. Your glider pitches forward. You start to swing under it. Basically, you're going to hear the sink alarm go off. You're going to fly over what we call the waterfall out of a thermal. You'll fly over into the waterfall. Your glider will pitch out in front of you. You'll start going down. You'll hear sink alarm because you're going down 4 meters a second. The impulse in your head is to, oh, we're sinking. We need to accelerate so we go fast through the sink, right? Slow and lift, fast and sink. And the impulse is correct, but you want to time it just right. So the glider pitches out in front of you. The wrong time to push the speed bar is when the glider is in front of you, okay? The right time to push the speed bar is as your body swings under the glider. Just before you arrive under the glider, you push the speed bar. And you don't push it progressively, because progressively is still just going to get you that pendulum, and you're going to pitch up, and then you'll have to pitch down, and you'll have to use the rears. You want to, depending on how much energy your body has swinging under the glider, if you have a bunch of energy, you're going to need to push all the way to full speed to get the glider, to keep the glider from pitching up again. Because we have to realize is that your body has a bunch of energy in it, right? Your body and your harness have a bunch of energy in it, and you can turn that energy into forward speed with a properly timed application of the speed bar. It also needs to be a proper depth of the speed bar, like enough of it, right? So if you're swinging under really quickly, and right before you arrive under the glider, if you push full speed bar, you're going to go straight from a bunch of energy to full speed, right? With as little pitch, as little pendulum motion as possible. Okay. So that might look like 2 steps. It might look like the first step and the second step really quickly as you swing under. Okay. So now, the opposite is equally true. If you are flying on speed bar, imagine you're flying 3/4 speed and you're gliding along and you're waiting for a thermal, and then all of a sudden your glider pitches way behind you. Your varier goes beep, 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 beep. Your impulse is, I'm in a climb, come off of speed bar. The impulse is correct. You're probably in lift, and you probably should be coming off the speed bar, but the timing, again, is so critically important. So instead of letting off the speed bar here when the glider is behind you, because that's effectively like pulling the brakes, increasing your angle of attack, and we know that when the glider is behind us, we go hands up, and as the glider comes out, we check the glider. So in the same exact way, in the same exact order of operations, but instead of using the brakes, we're just going to use the speed bar. So the glider pitches back. As the glider starts to come overhead, when it's about to arrive overhead, I'm going to dump the speed bar, all of it all at once, right? Or as much of it as I need to control that pitch so that I don't have to use the rears, I don't have to use the brakes. There are times where it'll pitch so far back that I need to release all of the speed bar and catch it with the rears or the brakes to control that pitch. Those are the exceptions. Typically, if you're on the bar, letting off the bar is going to be enough. Right? But you'll see that as you play around with it. These things help turn the energy that you already have in the system, whether it's the energy in the glider or the energy in your body and harness, and turn them into lift, turn them into speed, and keep yourself from penduluming all day long, okay? These things are what I do as much as humanly possible. You'll start noticing differences, especially if you start flying competitions, these little differences in how you use the object, the paraglider, in its subtleties. You will start noticing a difference because you're flying with people who are right next to you. You notice these little tiny differences add up over the day. So I hope this is helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions or clarifications or what tricks you use with the speed bar. Put those in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel. Like I said, if you like this channel and you appreciate what I'm doing, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon. That helps so much. That's for as little as $5 a month. The link is in the description below. Also, check out the link in the description for my XC clinic in Mexico in 2023, January. It's going to be rad. Would love to help you learn and grow as a cross-country pilot. And look forward to these next videos about this nearly 400 kilometer flight that I just had last week that I'm just now recovering from because it just like melted my brain. But thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.